Hello, my name is Regina. I don't know a lot of sign, so I'm going to try my best to sign the words that I know. Otherwise, the video will be a combination of um, finger spelling as well as ASL sign and voice speaking. As an itinerant teacher, working with kids to help develop individualized educational plans and coordinating meetings, part of what itinerant teachers do is support services. We provide information to parents. We manage equipment, including the hearing aids and any other kind of FM systems. I'm going to get into where I've come up with my information, which I will state at the end of the video. And I will begin by telling you why the captioning is so important for deaf or hard of hearing students. So for deaf students, hard of hearing students, it allows for them to be able to follow the dialogue and the action of a program simultaneously. So for people who have even hearing loss or are not completely deaf, captions can make the spoken words easier for them to hear from whatever range they can hear, because hearing, like vision, is influenced by our expectations, right? So these ways we're able to kind of form, what the deaf or hard of hearing students are seeing, as well as giving them a visual to identify, yes, this is what we're seeing, this is what we're reading, we have the word right in front of us, and the captioning really helps with improving word recognition in that sense, as well as word comprehension, vocabulary, identifying main ideas of a story, phoneme recognition, listening comprehension, and listening for deaf or hard of hearing students can be from any kind of range from what they're hearing, or just simply what they're looking at, what they're viewing is the way that they are listening, as well as their reading skills. So from one of the articles that I read, there was a lot of information about the way that itinerant teachers have kind of opened up and talked about the reality of where they've gotten their job experience. In the first article that I read, only 17% of those respondents in the article said that they had learned skills through teacher preparation programs or some kind of workshop or any kind of formal education. 65% of those people said that they had learned while they're working on the job, and they had expressed that they had a lot of interest when they were working more hands-on and developing their own skills and improved methods as itinerant teachers versus any of the workshops that they might have taken in addition or in the past. They definitely seem to gain more experience that they could substantially say was holding them through their career through time and experience of on-the-job work. So schools over the years, especially in elementary school, high school, everything has changed. Before, the deaf or hard of hearing students were in separate schools. They would not be together with hearing students at all. They would be in completely different schools where that's where they would get their education. A lot of that was not monitored the way that it is now. After the IDEA has approved that in 1975 the individuals with the disability education approved for deaf students to be together with other students who are hearing in the same school, in the mainstream schools. So they are also in the same classrooms now, but there are private schools that are only deaf schools as well. But now, because of the higher demand of itinerant teachers, by the year 2000, students had increased to 84% of being inside of the classroom with the general education students as well. So because of this huge increase, there were a lot of there was a big demand for special teachers, for itinerant teachers. The demand went up so much because of the growing and the learning that the deaf and hard of hearing students are capable of. They need additional help. The specialist teachers, which are the itinerant teachers, they actually focus more on communication with general education teachers. These teachers are the itinerant teachers who are spread out to many, many different schools. Usually they're always driving in their cars, they're going from place to place, they meet with teachers, they meet with students, they are service providers for at least 1 hour a week per student. They can be working with up to anywhere from 11, 12, 13 different students, and all of their roles are based on what the student needs. So they're always learning about new technology. They're always, getting the latest information about the cochlear implants and additional support services that they can help out with. There's not one set specific role for these teachers. They do get to take on many types of different work within their role. There is a lot of research that's still going to be done on itinerant teachers, but the part that most have been open to sharing is about the conclusion of their on-the-job learning by experience. There are several methods of itinerant teachers and the way that they go about their day-to-day. The first method would be the co-teaching or team teaching. There's a second method that's being a consultative support to regular education teachers. And the third is the pull-out school method. So team teaching is where the itinerant teacher and the regular class teachers share the instructional role with the regular class. So there might be students who need the special help, but they're all still within the same classroom. The itinerant teacher is there to help out with those students, and the regular gen ed teacher is there as well. The pullout is where the student is actually removed from the class. The itinerant teacher will spend some short period of time with them, and they will provide some direct instruction in support of the classroom work. And the consultative model basically is where the itinerant teacher visits the class, offers suggestions to the regular class teacher regarding whatever kind of inclusional support of the deaf or hard of hearing student they need. So basically, those are the three most common methods of itinerant teachers. The pull-out method seems to be the most common. I guess that would mostly be because that the students are working on their training more one-on-one. There's more focus. It's on separate instruction. There's just more that the itinerant teacher has the focus on during that time. Tasks that are performed by itinerant teachers include adapting instructional methods and materials. They troubleshoot any problems with hearing aids or FM systems. They coordinate team meetings. They provide workshops to mainstream teachers. They communicate with moms and dads. They travel. They go to different schools. They develop the educational plans. They conduct assessments. They provide academic support to the students. And their essential skills are identified by itinerants, including organizational, mediation, advocacy, collaborative skills, expertise in a range of subject areas, and the ability to negotiate their roles in the regular classroom. While direct work with the students is still the main focus of itinerant work, advising and consulting with regular education teachers is receiving more attention. The itinerant teachers do report that successful consultation with regular class teachers requires the ability to schedule informal meetings with teachers to discuss student progress, establish mutual trust with other professionals, adapt instructional materials, suggest modifications to the class environment, and help general education work with interpreters or note takers. These are all the kinds of things that itinerant teachers have to do. So a lot of that time is focused on the consulting and the discussions of the students' overall academic goals, but it's not always the most concentrated plan with the student one-on-one. It just depends on which method the itinerant teacher is using. The references that I've used to obtain most of my information are coming from deafcommission.gov, which I have a link for, which I will also submit, as well as the roles and responsibilities of itinerant special teachers of deaf and hard of hearing students by the American Annals of the Deaf Volume 153, number 5. I hope that this explains about itinerant teachers, and I would like to be one day. I look forward to this. I think that itinerant teachers are so dynamic and so diverse, and I really love the flexibility that they have. I think that they have a huge role that's very, very significant in students' academic performance and educational development. Thank you.